Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Total Health Turnaround. My name is Jim, and I'm your host. Today, we're going to cover 10 free or almost free things you can do to improve your health daily. I totally turned my health around starting 7 years ago after having a near fatal asthma attack. Ever since, I have been researching health, wellness, and nutrition constantly. The amount of information that I've been able to gather is staggering, and I feel that it's my duty to share it with you so that you don't have to do all that research by yourself. Please know that nothing that I share on my channel is intended as medical advice, and I highly recommend that every one of you check with your doctor before making any changes to your lifestyles. I am simply sharing what I did and how well it worked for me. So let's kick it off. The first item on my list is the only one that's not totally free, and that is make sure you filter your water. I use a zero water pitcher at home, but the two best water sources that you can get would be distilled water, which is very simply steam collected as water, completely free of any type of electrolytes or anything else, or reverse osmosis filtration. Those two versions of water are the cleanest you can get. The zero pitcher that I use removes solid contaminants, and I use that for my coffee, and then for the rest of the day I drink Pellegrino water because I just happen to prefer my water carbonated. Anyway, filter your water. The number 2 item on my list is coincidentally to hydrate. Our bodies do not function properly without enough water, and I read that adults who stay well hydrated appear to be healthier, develop fewer chronic conditions such as heart and lung disease, and live longer compared to those who may not get sufficient fluids. And that's straight from the National Institute of Health website. They also said that we have learned that even mild dehydration, a 1 to 2% reduction in being fully hydrated, can impair cognitive abilities. This amount of dehydration amounts to 1.5 to 3 pounds of body weight for a 150-pound person, and that could occur through routine daily activity. So stay hydrated, folks. Number 3. Seems like a no-brainer, but please avoid excess alcohol use. Not everybody thinks about how bad alcohol is until the day after they've overdone it. Needless to say, that reaction of overuse is almost universal among us humans. There's no other way to say it. When we've overused alcohol the night before, we wake up the next day feeling poisoned. The best practice that I know of is to minimize your use of alcohol. Number 4 is to avoid excess sugar. Harvard says that consuming too much added sugar can raise blood pressure, increase chronic inflammation, both of which are pathological pathways to heart disease. Excess consumption of sugar, especially in sugary beverages, also contributes to weight gain by tricking your body into turning off its appetite control system, because liquid calories are not as satisfying as those from solid foods. That's why it's easier for people to add more calories to their regular diet when consuming sugary beverages. The effects of added sugar intake, high blood pressure, inflammation, weight gain and diabetes, and fatty liver disease are all linked to an increased risk for heart attack and stroke. Please avoid excess sugars. Number 5, wash your sheets and pillowcases regularly. Why? Without regular cleaning, dirty sheets can contribute to allergies, skin breakouts, asthma, and more. For most people, washing your sheets once a week is a good general rule of thumb. People with severe allergies or asthma may want to wash their sheets every 3 or 4 days. More frequent washings can remove dust, dander, and pollen that can trigger symptoms. One other tip is to set your dryer to low or no heat and tumble your pillows for about an hour. If you're getting a healthy amount of sleep every night, hopefully near 8 hours, then those 8 hours should be free of airborne contaminants that you would breathe into your lungs. Number 6, make sensible food choices every day. There are 2 other recommendations in number 6 that go along with that, and that is number 1, to chew your food slowly and enjoy it. In other words, don't scarf your food down. And then lastly, avoid snacking in between the 2 or 3 meals a day that you have, because the snacking in between is going to cause a spike in your insulin every time you eat something, and you do not want to spike your insulin repeatedly during the day. 2 or 3 times is fine, and that's normal, but when you start making it 8, 10, 12 times, it becomes a problem. It's literally what causes insulin resistance, which is very bad for us and can cause metabolic disease, high blood pressure, and diabetes. So please, make sensible food choices every day. Number 7, please make sure that you have plenty of houseplants in your bedroom where you sleep, or make sure that you're able to open some windows to maximize the amount of oxygen that you can breathe all night long. Indoor air quality is very poor, 2 to 5 times worse than outdoors, and it's due to what we have inside of our homes. Things like paint, pieces of furniture made out of unusual materials, and some of the indoor contaminants include particulate matter, carbon monoxide, secondhand tobacco smoke, pesticides, and so on. Lastly, if you're in bed and you're not washing your sheets and pillowcases every week, and you haven't put your pillows through the dryer in a long time, dust mites could be another issue for you that can cause serious problems for some people. Number 8, get a good night's sleep. You must plan to do this. It's not an accident. And it could be the most important thing on this list as far as your health goes. Getting less than an 8-hour night is not good for anybody. I know we all know lots of people that say that they survive well on 4 or 5 hours a night, but health professionals recommend 7 to 9 hours every night of good, solid sleep. A couple of things you can do to maximize your potential to get a good night's sleep is, number 1, you should not consume excess alcohol before going to bed. You want to eliminate blue light that comes from TVs, phones, laptops, and iPads, because that tricks our brain into thinking the sun is still up and it won't want us to go to sleep yet. And very simply stated, plan to get in bed at least a half an hour before you want to fall asleep, so that you can get relaxed, get comfortable, and also I highly recommend keeping the temperature in your home fairly low. Number 9, this sounds like an easy one, but it's not. Reduce your stress and anxiety. There are lots of ways to go about doing this, but my suggestion is to learn how to meditate. Meditation is nothing more than getting yourself into a comfortable seated position and control your breathing. At the same time, you want to be thinking very positive, calming thoughts. Cortisol is a steroid hormone that's produced by your 2 adrenal glands, which sit on top of each of your kidneys. And when you are stressed, increased cortisol is released into your bloodstream, and you definitely want to minimize that. And number 10 really ties into number 9, and that is, we're still talking about stress. You need to manage your stress levels. I recommend a couple of things. Number 1, think of yourself as a professional problem solver. Rather than letting little speed bumps in your day get you aggravated, simply say to yourself, how can I solve this problem? If you will take that approach, you will automatically be less inclined to want to kick a stump and hurt your foot, and more inclined to just figure out how to avoid that problem in the future. I've already mentioned meditation and getting a good night's sleep. And if you do those things regularly, you're going to improve the number of times that stress taps you on the shoulder. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you will like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next video.